One of my fondest memories of the conference here 6 years ago was right over here. There was a couple at the end of my last talk that came up to me from Louisiana. I don't see them here this year, but this brother walked up to me and embraced me. He's a good-sized guy. He embraced me, pulled me tight to him, and then proceeded to give me a huge kiss on my right cheek. Now, I don't know, about men kissing each other in Florida, but in Michigan, we don't do that a lot. It was a holy kiss. So I knew something special was up, and I began to speak with him. And he told me an amazing story. And I've been actually a close friend of his ever since. In fact, they now are associate members of our church. And they not always able to gather with us, but they listen to every service streamlined, and they're just part of the congregation. We call each other frequently. But what happened is this brother grew up in Armenia and met his wife in North America. They got married, and they were unbelievers. And he was in the car business, old cars, and did quite well. And then the Lord had a friend that came into her life, and that friend talked her into going to church, and she was converted. But she tried then to convert her husband, of course, and he said, "Look, I have nothing to do with Christianity. Don't ever talk to me about it. Don't try to convert me. I'm not interested. You go ahead and go to church. You can do your thing. That's fine." Well, she tried a couple times. He got angry. And so she didn't know what to do. So she resorted to prayer and to leaving books all around the house and tracts and booklets everywhere. And he said, I knew what she was doing. I refused to open up any of them. Not at all. And she kept praying and praying. And they were telling me this whole story right here, standing right here, 6 years ago. And then one day he's in the bathroom. And it apparently took a little longer than usual. And there was a set of John Calvin's 1,250 pages Institutes, 2 volumes, sitting in the bathroom. And so in frustration, he just reached forward and said, well, I guess it wouldn't hurt to take a peek. And he opened one book and he read one sentence of Calvin. And something spoke to him. And he didn't know what to do with it. But he suddenly had a desire to go with his wife to church. So Sunday morning he's getting dressed and she said, what are you doing? He said, well, look here. I'm going to church with you one time. I know you want it. I'm just doing it to please you. And don't think anything of it. Don't think anything's going to come of it. Just one time only. Comes to church one time. Guess what the preacher preached about the whole sermon long? The errors and dangers and heresies of Armenianism. And the poor guy sitting in his seat didn't know how to distinguish Armenia with an E from Armenian with an I. And so he thought the pastor was speaking against him the whole sermon long. At the end of the sermon, he comes up to the pastor. He's very angry. He said, why are you speaking against me and my people? The pastor said, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, look, I'm from Armenia, and you speak against he's got an accent. You speak against the Armenians the whole time. And, the pastor finally got it, and he started laughing and laughing. He said, I'll tell you what we'll do. He said, we want to get to know you better, brother. Next week, Wednesday night, we'll come and we'll have a Bible study in your home, and we'll introduce you to these things and what Armenianism means. It doesn't mean your country and so on. And, all right, 7:30 next week, Wednesday. And he said, every bone in my body said, no, I'm not going to have those Bible-thumping Christians come walking up my sidewalk. My neighbors look out their windows and say, what loony-toony thing happened to this guy? He's letting Christians come into his house. But he said, my mouth said yes. I don't know how. I didn't dare turn him down. And he said the next week, there they were, walking with their Bibles into my house. And he said, there was something about those people that night. Something about their love for me and my soul that was different than anything I ever experienced. And I said to them at the end of the evening, you can come again next week. And he started going to church every Sunday. And within a couple months, he was soundly and thoroughly converted. And now this brother, you can go to him at a restaurant. He'll speak to the waitress. He lets no one pass by. He came to my house immediately when he met all three of my children. He said, tell me how you were converted. He's a bright witness in answer to the prayers of his wife.